Check. I have no stand in my headphones. All right, let's do it. It is Tuesday morning. We are recording Monday night instead of our usual Sunday, Father's Day. Took a little break, and it was a long weekend. I was toast. Golf, fished. It was a good weekend. But here, ready to talk sports. Chris, how you doing?
Good, man. Total dad vibes. Golf, fish, and now sports talk. Wow.
Yeah, man. And I spent all today mowing the lawn. Got a day off today, so that was good. It was
Living
good
the
stuff.
dream.
Half day, but it was good. But yeah, a lot of dad stuff. A lot of dad stuff. All good. But a lot happened over the weekend and over the past week since we last talked. I did want to start with what was kind of basically the biggest sports event of the weekend, the U.S. Open. I don't know how much you caught of that, but it I was in and out of it. My dad was over, so golf was on, and I did bet on Ricky because
Oh,
I saw on Thursday Ricky was looking good, and I was like, you know what, screw it, let's go Ricky. And I was just looking forward to a weekend where Ricky was at or near the top, and we got that, so I was happy about that. But 18th hole on Saturday night, I was in bed by this point. These West Coast golf it's for me. Golf is it's done at 5 o'clock. Like you're watching it all day, and it's done if that's 6 o'clock, and then you can go watch baseball or whatever else is on. This was a little rough for me, the timing, and I have a lot to say about the course and this country club, but Ricky, on 18 on Saturday, he missed the putt. He would have had a two stroke lead. He three putted, went into Sunday tied, and then was five over on Sunday. Complete explosion,
yeah.
typical Ricky fashion.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. You root for the guy. I root for the guy. I didn't originally. I was like, look at this pretty boy guy with his matching outfits and everything. But now, dudes that been around for a while that just can't get over that hump, like I'm rooting for him. Ricky, like he dropped it Thursday, huge first round, and he was just riding that the entire time, and he just couldn't get it back together in the final round. So, kind of sad to see him lose that because I was definitely rooting for him too. Um, Also, Rory finishing second, he's been in a serious drought too, which is kind of funny. But the West Coast golf, I hear you. Golf is not an evening sport. It's definitely just very weird. There were some views of that course too. I was like, this looks like the course from like Grand Theft Auto, where like you drive the golf carts around and everything. But
It basically is LA Country Club, but
yeah, there was a lot of
San Andreas.
scoring though. There was a lot more scoring than any U.S. Open I've been accustomed to.
Yeah,
I've
course
been to
got beat up.
Shinnecock. Yeah,
Course
I've
course
been.
got its ass kicked this weekend.
Dude, it did, and then you know what? Too, that's something to be said for the climate in LA too. It gets drier on this season, but um, it is what it is. Like usually, you see the U.S. Open with rock hard greens, fast greens, deep rough, and guys are barely breaking par or like
Yeah.
shooting under par. Like maybe one or two guys are doing it. It was fun to see the scoring, but it wasn't really a U.S. Open vibe to me. I don't know how you feel about that.
Apparently, Ricky set the record for birdies in the U.S. Open, and still he came in. He ended up tied for fifth
Yeah, see.
after a miserable Sunday. It's just a lot of scoring, and then you had stories there. Obviously Ricky, like you say, he's kind of become everybody's favorite golfer. Everybody's rooting for him. People were rooting for Rory after the live stuff. That would have been a story. Even Scotty Scheffler, he's got some personality to him. People like him. Wyndham Clark wins, and it's like who?
Wyndham Clark, yeah. No, it's just it was interesting. I saw the highlight of Scheffler, like you said, he's got some personality to him. Hits in from the fairway on that one hole, and then like chest bumps his caddy. Like I love that guy. I love Xander Schaff, the other Scheffler guy. I love
Shoffley,
Xander
yeah.
too. Yeah, he was up there
Scheffler,
for a while,
Shoffley, Scheffler.
and we get Wyndham Clark, and it's just a little bit disappointing, but it was an unconventional U.S. Open from start to finish. So, is what it is. That's probably to be expected.
Yeah, and this country club. I mean, the course got beat up. The crowd stunk.
It's an
Um,
LA crowd, man.
well, apparently too. They sold about 60% of the tickets to staff and members and They basically like bought the club itself bought like 60% of tickets, so you didn't really have an actual crowd there. There weren't
Like I
fans.
said, I've been to Shinnecock, I've been to Bethpage. There's people screaming, yelling, and like some people love that, some people hate that. I've also been to the FedEx Cup down in Atlanta as well, and like that's a whole different vibe. It's a Southern golf vibe. So there's a whole different crowd for where you're at in the country. It seems like, and LA just is not. Maybe it is golf, golf etiquette and the golf crowd or whatever. But I like to see somebody yelling, "Get in the fucking hole!"
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, come on, that's golf for the people. I mean, this was. I'm out on West Coast golf. The times, the fans, everything. Get it out of here.
garbage.
But I did end up. Ricky ended up tied for fifth. So I had him top five. I had him winning and top five.
There you
So I
go.
got that, but he got was tied. So like it was a split pot, and it was just I should have won much more, but poor Ricky. If I would like to see him just keep up this form, get on a run because he's really he struggled of late, and but we'll see. But yeah, it was overall. I got out to a hot start, and there's just overall this kind of a disappointing U.S. Open. I think I blame the West Coast for that. But aside from that, a lot of baseball. You know, I we were usually record on Sunday night. I was in a I didn't let it get to me, but I was just I wouldn't have been able to really talk as much as I would have liked, I think, about how fucking terrible the New York Yankees are. You go into Fenway Park again to face a Boston team who is one of the worst defensive and worst pitching teams in baseball. They're in last place in the division. They can hit. I get that. But you go in there and you get embarrassed. You got your ass beat on Friday. And then Saturday gets rained out. And you're like, all right, you got two games. Take two. I mean, come on, let's go. The offense is doing nothing. I get Aaron Judge is out. Anthony Rizzo, Giancarlo Stanton, Josh Donaldson. These guys are here. That's supposed to be the middle of your order with Judge, and they can't hit. They can't hit it at all. And I I I think you're at a point where yes, everybody was good when an offense struggles, you blame the hitting coach. It's typical. But I'm very concerned that anytime a hitter has something positive to say about their performance or said, hey, we made an adjustment, it's never the Yankees hitting coaches. This guy Derek Lawson, who has done absolutely nothing. Aaron Judge, the Yankees' only decent hitter in on the team, who's not playing right now, he has a personal hitting coach. He doesn't even go to the hitting coaches here. He credits his 2017 Rookie of the Year season to this guy. He said there's a story out that he said it's been out there, but recently he had a podcast with Mookie Betts, and he was like, 2016 I came up, hit a couple homers to start, but really hit like 180. Wasn't feeling it in my rookie year. I needed to change, so I found this guy. We made some adjustments, and I got to camp, and the Yankee hitting coach was like, "We don't like these adjustments. Just get back to what you were doing." He's like, and he said, "No, listen, if you guys are going to help me, I get away. Like I'm doing this. This. I need to make some adjustments here." And rookie of the year 2017 probably should have won MVP that year, and has to tell the Yankee hitting coaches to back off. I'm very concerned. And then Anthony Volpe, this kid who's struggling mightily in his first year, he has a chicken parm dinner with his family in Austin Wells, a fellow minor leaguer, and they're watching video and they find an issue with his swing and he adjusts. And his last two games weren't great. Sunday wasn't great, but aside from that, he's starting to hit. He looks better at the plate, looks more confident. It's like, what are the Yankee hitting coaches doing? Are they
Yeah,
there?
they're not eating chicken parm with the players, that's for sure.
No, they're
Damn, dude,
definitely
I didn't know that about Aaron Judge. I mean, why don't you just hire that guy? Yeah, you can have an assistant hitting coach. There's not a big deal. Like, I don't really get that. I didn't know
hire
that.
that man. Just hire him.
Yeah,
Throw money at him. He's apparently like a 60-year-old, retiree who's just helping guys, hit baseballs. And
this is
he's like,
funny. You're ranting about the Yankees again. It's so. I'm not. I'm so not used to this. It's great. I'm just enjoying every single moment of it because you guys suck. You really do. There's money in the wrong spots. Like there's so much money in the wrong
Josh
places.
Donaldson is making so much money.
Former MVP, mind you,
A
but this is the
former.
problem with
How many years
baseball.
ago?
He has plummeted because he stinks and he's gotten older and he's had a contract where now he's just not living up to it. He's not worth it. The Yankees are spending $100 million on most of the guys that are not named Aaron Judge, and they're not doing anything. LeMahieu,
Oh, what happened to
Donaldson,
him?
Torres. Trying to think who else it was, but
I
I heard
mean,
this on ESPN Radio that they're invested this season specifically over $80 million in guys that are batting and not just literally not doing anything. I can't remember the exact
yeah.
stat right now,
No,
but there's
it's
just
rough.
money in the wrong spots.
Nobody's doing anything. We talked earlier in the year about Anthony Rizzo, how great he looked. As soon as Aaron Judge went down, he's done. He's
He needs chicken parm.
nothing. And
Yeah,
he's kind of low on my list of guys. I think he'll turn it around. I think Stan will turn it around. But you have a major problem with Josh Donaldson in the middle of that order. You have an outfield that isn't an outfield. Jake Bowers has give the guy credit. He's done a good job leading off lately.
I
He
love
was about
Jake
the only
Bowers.
he was about the only guy who hit in Fenway this weekend, but he can't play the outfield. He lost some balls out there. He takes bad routes. He's a first baseman. You got him. You got Willie Calhoun, who can't do anything. The
Calhoun was
the
the
Red
other one.
Sox all weekend were just slapping the ball against the wall and running the bases, and we couldn't throw anybody out. We couldn't get the ball off the wall. It was a disaster. It's embarrassing. It's the most embarrassed that I've been as a Yankee fan in quite some
Good,
time. It's even
good.
it's more because of this concern that it's the hope of all right, we'll get them next time. It's going to get better. Right now, I'm
It's not going to
extremely
get better.
concerned. They need to make a major change. I mean, I'd be fine with them getting rid of Boone right now, and I'm not blaming the guy for it for what we're watching. But since Boone's taken over,
Should
it's
have
been the
happened a year
same issue.
ago.
It should have. No, it
Hmm.
really should have.
Yeah,
But
I
then
love Jake Bowers, but he was an incredible Columbus Clipper. He is not a major
that,
league hitter. He is
that's
not does not belong in the Yankees lineup.
he's a bench backup first baseman. Like he's got some pop, but he can't play the outfield. He's not your starting left fielder leadoff hitter for the New York Yankees. It's insane. They're not getting any offense out of the catcher, which is fine
It's
when the rest of the team is
amazing.
hitting. But and now we're sitting up and we're looking up, and the Rays and Orioles are dancing at the top of the
Quick
division.
question for you: would you like Kevin Long back?
He's a guy I used to shit on all the time.
Uh-huh, all the time, all the time. He would have guys pull the ball down the line like nobody's business,
Yeah,
but
and then he won a World Series with the Nationals, I believe.
mhm.
So,
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
so
did.
I need something. I think it's an organizational thing. I'm not saying Dylan Lawson's the guy here, but you're going on how many years ago? It's 2017. Well, it's 6, 7 years ago now.
Firebone.
I mean, this is yeah. Like get
Send a
rid of him.
message.
Get rid
That's
of him.
what you have to do.
And
I
the
mean,
rest of the
Rodon coming
division.
back is not going to change everything. Rodon is a
No,
very streaky pitcher too. A great season in a contract year, signed a contract, went straight to the IL. So I don't think he's going to come back and save the season for him. And I just love that baseball in New York is just, oh, it just is just, oh, so mediocre. It's
it
so
is. It
amazing.
is. And I mean, the Mets. Pete Alonso came back. That was shocking. I thought he was going to miss another 4 weeks or so. He
Yeah, and
came
I
back,
think
but
Judge is going to miss more time than we expect too.
it seems like that. And I mean, yeah, like you said, New York baseball. I mean, the Mets are in a real bad place as well. The Braves and Marlins. It's you got the Rays and O's, and then the Braves and Marlins. It's New York baseball not doing
Yeah,
well.
everyone in New York, a big series starting tomorrow. If you want to watch some excellent baseball that costs way less than you guys spent, Tampa Bay and Baltimore start a huge series tomorrow, and I am pumped for it. Your boy Bradish is on the hill to start against Glass now.
Let's go O's. I guess I hate to do it.
Oh, can we
I
cut
hate to
that? Because we get a
do
little drop. Can we repeat that? Can we play that
it.
on a loop? Is Vine still a thing?
I'll talk to our editor.
All right,
I think the
cool.
answer is no.
It kind of figures.
but
Uh,
but your O's are looking great. That's going to be an incredible series. I my disdain for the Rays, and the O's are a fun team right now. I I'll be rooting for them, but
We'd love to go buy something at the deadline off of one of you New York teams, that's for sure.
what
I
about Luis
think,
Severino? He's on an
yeah, I think,
expiring deal.
yeah. Well, I mean, well, we took Hicks, and you guys are still paying him 10 million, so
Yeah,
that
he's
was a
looked
good
great.
deal for us too. Yeah, there was. I was watching the game what was it, last Thursday, and they're like, and that's the first game that Aaron Hicks hasn't had a hit as an Oriole or something, so or hasn't got on base as an Oriole, and I was
Get
like,
used to it.
oh shoot, okay,
Get
nah,
used to
dude, he was incredible. He's great. I love him. He's so good, but we have plenty in the pipeline. We're not relying on him. He's just a stopgap. Mullins will be back soon. Only problem with this series against the Rays is the O's got the stomach flu going around the clubhouse. Gunner's sick. Mountcastle was sick. So who knows who we're going to have. But like you said, starting pitching has been great. Tyler Wells, I'm waiting for him to just stop being great. And he just doesn't stop being great. And it's kind of funny. I was also listening to the broadcast too, and they said he actually took his health into consideration in this off season. Guy's like 6'7" or something like that.
Jeez,
And
I didn't
like,
realize that.
yeah, he's tremendous, and he was a big boy coming up. But he told his, I guess his wife now that he can't eat any more insomnia cookies or any more cookie delivery services to his house. And he's trimmed down, and he's sustaining the success. So I'm super excited to see him because he's just kind of a bonus arm in that rotation. And when Means comes back, it's
I do
hopefully
like
going to be a
memes.
solid rotation. But he just had a setback too, so we'll see. But more games than we've won at this point in a long time. I had a futures bet of them to have 90 games or 90 wins in the regular season, and I'm surprised I'm not seeing a cash out option yet because they are rolling and they're going to
Yeah,
hit that. I hope pretty easily.
yeah, I think they will. I don't think that'll be a problem. I think they're in the playoffs. I think it's raising them
It's
in the
happening.
division.
It's
Then
happening.
you'll have a dogfight for the wild card: Yankees, Blue Jays.
You know what I want to do? I want to trade for Showalter
Actually,
back. That's what I want. I want Brandon
yeah,
Hyde
I
and
think
Buck Showalter to come co-manage this team because clearly the Mets don't want him.
I think Mets fans would be okay with that right now. They don't like Buck.
That's
Poor Buck.
just a joke.
I love when you laugh at the Mets. It's one of
Oh, dude, they brought in Robertson in the eighth, and then he pitched like 8 pitches or whatever, and then they trotted out Ottavino for the
oh
ninth,
yeah.
and
The pitch on the way. A swing and a drive. Left field. It's a gunner. A home run for Nolan Arenado off Adam Ottavino. And the Cardinals go up 8-7 with 1 out in the ninth. A 2-home run day for Arenado.
he blew it. And then you should
Yeah, who took him
Sports
yard?
Talk
I saw
Radio
someone
was
took him
like, Ottavino's never been good. He sucks, and they're like, dude, he hasn't given up a homer on a sinker in 2 years because of course he's on the Mets now.
Guy stinks. Well, he wasn't that great with the Yankees either. He had one good year, I think,
He
but
needs some chicken parm.
yeah, yes. I mean, I guess that's the recipe in New York.
Yeah,
Go eat
yeah,
some chicken parm and
that
figure
is
out
the
why you
recipe.
suck. So, well, anything else with baseball you want to talk about, or maybe save for later?
Yeah, we'll save for later. I got a couple goods, a couple bads, a couple
Goods,
shitties.
couple
Maybe not
bads.
a couple, just one of
Love it.
each.
I love it. Love it. Well, I did want to talk a little soccer again. I don't know if you saw, but USA won the CONCACAF Cup. That and kind of in dominant fashion, 2-0 win over Canada. They beat Mexico previously, and they're looking really good. And it's kind of a really crucial point for this team with the World Cup in 4 years here. Um, Gio Reyna, who there was a lot of current controversy around him during the World Cup. He's a young kid with a lot of talent who a lot of fans were like, play this guy. And coach did not really play him last night. What was it? Sunday night, he had 2 assists, an assist on both goals. Looks really good. He's making things happen. And this is with the interim coach. The issues with him and Coach Berhalter were pretty out in the open. I don't know if you read about it, but just basically, Reyna's parents tried to get the guy fired. They let his contract expire, but now he is coming back. They let this interim coach, and they look great. And now he's coming back. So, I mean, I don't get it. Just don't kind of mess with it. I don't know. I don't know much about the interim coach. I don't know if he's in over his head or what, but I mean they're looking really good right now. You have to figure out a way to get Raiden to keep playing like this because he's a key piece of the team. And then this guy who joined us finally he decided he's going with the USA. Fowler Balogun. He scored a big goal, and he looks like a legitimate striker. He was born in Brooklyn, grew up in England, and he's been in the Arsenal Academy for years. I think he's coming to Arsenal this year, although it's not set in stone. But kid's legit. This is a legitimate striker that we've needed, and it's exciting. And now you gotta. He came here, and he had a couple options. Yeah, I believe I forget where his parents are from, but he could have played there as well. So he had three options. England, it was kind of maybe he'd make the team, maybe he wouldn't. Come to the USA, represent America, and be our featured striker, and let's go, let's
Yeah,
go.
dude, that's awesome. We need a big time striker. I mean, I remember getting excited about Josie Altidore and how young and great he was, or
How
whatever.
long ago was that
Dude
now,
didn't
man?
do shit. Landon Donovan, mad old, and for most of his career with the USA. But at the end of the day, especially when it comes to international soccer, soccer is a very chemistry-driven sport.
Yes.
And if you're gonna have a good thing going, you want to kind of try to keep it going and not really add too much to that mix. And you just want to kind of keep running with it, I guess, rather than messing with what's working. Because at the end of the day, you kind of have to feel when people are open. You have to feel when people are going to make runs. You have to lead people. You have to work with people. You have to know somebody's going to be there when you pass
Mhm.
it. So, unlike my FIFA game, you have to keep that chemistry and that solid continuity there. So, who knows? But it's a long time coming. I really, really, really do hope that um, international soccer becomes a thing for the U.S. Eventually in my lifetime, because for the longest time I've heard it's the fastest growing sport in America when I was a kid. Now it's pickleball, but now,
Now it's pickleball
but
taking
I,
over.
I really just want to see something happen because CONCACAF,
Yeah, it's
great.
time. It's time.
World Cup, come on, let's go. Let's
Yeah,
figure it out over there when it matters, when everybody and their mother who's good and matters in the soccer community or the football community is playing for the biggest prize in all of sports in the world, pretty much. We should be relevant. And I hope that we get there at some point.
yeah, and it's not just Christian Pulisic now. It's
Yeah,
Pulisic, whatever. It's
Pulisic.
not just him at Chelsea. We're like, oh, we got a player who's good enough to play at Chelsea is great, and he's the key, obviously. But you need more of those guys. You need legit stars. And yes, it's a team driven sport, but you still need those guys. That the talent has to be up here to really compete. And now with Balogun, if Reina, I really hope they're
Balogun.
coming back. Balogun. And I wanted to say, I'm hearing a couple of nicknames for the guy. I heard Flo, I've heard Ballo. The guy's middle name is Jerry. Let's call him Jerry.
Let's call him Jerry. Let's
Just
do it.
imagine thousands and thousands of fans just chant Jerry, Jerry,
I
Jerry.
could see it.
I'm in. I'm in. I mean, this kid, it's exciting. Um, they need they need this. 4 years from now, we could have an unbelievable time with the World Cup here, or maybe not. So we
Right.
need. Let's do this. We
Do they
talked
know where
about
the
next.
sites are for that? It's
I'd
all
have to
over
look.
North
I'd have to
America,
look it
so
up. Yeah, it's
I
all
know it's
over.
Mexico City, Estadio Azteca. I know it's in Canada, um, in Vancouver at least. I believe it's going to be Columbus, St. Louis, or Kansas City. Maybe there's two in the middle of the country, and then there's MetLife, and then there's LA. Possible Miami. I just threw out every city in America, pretty much.
Just yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Uh,
2026.
but yeah, dude, I am so pumped about that. I believe New York is one of the sites.
16 host cities.
Yeah. All right. So
So
I wasn't off.
11,
Yeah.
11 American venues.
Yes. All right. Cool.
Atlanta,
So
Boston, Dallas, Houston, KC, LA, Miami, MetLife Stadium, Philly, San Francisco, Seattle. And then you got Toronto, Vancouver, and then three in Mexico.
no Columbus. I could have named any other city.
He goes with Columbus.
The crew are
Um,
relevant. Sorry.
they are. Yeah, that's true. Sure.
Yeah.
You can keep making Columbus a thing.
Let's
I'm
go
here for
Bucks.
it. Let's go. So I won't talk too much more soccer, but I did want to touch on the NBA trades. The one big trade, Bradley Beal going to the Suns. There was a moment there last week. I had hope that maybe the Knicks could pull something off because I wanted him. I know some Knicks fans I was talking to didn't really. Max Deal had a full no trade. It was a weird, kind of a
You're talking about the Shamit trade, right?
yeah, the Landry Shamet move. Yeah. I mean, I
Gotcha.
mean, I you had the super team there with Booker, Durant, and Shamet, but they kind of broke that up, and you bring Beal in now.
Real deal Bill.
It's just disappointing, but I mean, KD just he needs a super team, or else he just can't do it.
Well,
So
yeah, he's too skinny. That's
yeah,
what it is.
we'll
Eat a
see.
burger.
We'll see what they're gonna do with Aiton. I mean, how much money they have between the four of these guys now? They're gonna have to figure out some way to fill the rest of their roster.
Well, supposedly with the new collective bargaining agreement that's coming down the pipeline, these super teams are going to be all but eliminated. It's going to be very impossible to fill out a roster with relevant or decent role players at all if you invest this much in max contracts. So I think what the Suns are trying to do is take advantage of what they have right now in the next 2 years before that comes, and then I think they're going to trade somebody or they're going to figure it out. But at the end of the day, they have so much money invested in those four guys that they have to win. They have to
You have
win.
to win with that much.
Hmm.
You have to win with that team, and they were completely outclassed by the Nuggets last year. And I I mean, does Beal make the difference in that series?
He's like the same player as Devin Booker. Well, maybe not the handle,
It's
but
it's similar, and I will say I think Beal at this point in his career is a little underrated because he's
yeah,
been
he is.
hurt and hasn't really played.
And
So
on
if
the
he's
shittiest
healthy,
franchise in
yeah,
basketball.
your Wizards. It's
Wizards, yeah.
your Wizards. It's I really do. I mean, he's still young. It could be great, but you're gonna have to fill out the roster. We've seen with these super teams that just they're too reliant on these guys, and if one of them gets hurt and one of them loses his mind, it's like becomes
That's
a
going to be
complete
Aiden.
disaster. Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're smart, I think they'll try to move Aiton and bring in some pieces and clear up some more money.
I
And
feel bad for Aiden. Aiden was a star, but it's
he's
funny
what,
because
22? I mean,
he's not 22. He's definitely older than that. But the dude's literally from Arizona, went to school at Arizona, and then got
24.
drafted by the Suns. He's only 24.
He's 24.
Man, he looks old for 24.
Well, yeah, I think when he was drafted, he looked like he was 36.
Yeah, he had Greg Oden syndrome.
Yeah, he's one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those. Yeah,
One of
exactly.
those guys just looks
Old
like an
look,
old
young
man.
body. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But I feel bad for him because I think he just gets lost in the sauce. He was a dominant college player, dominant,
he was.
like cleaning the glass, dominant college player. And I don't really know what happened. And maybe the game's just different. Maybe the competition is different because the Pac-12 is not the best basketball conference. But I feel bad for that guy because he's just being outshined by people, and I don't know that he's really gotten a fair shake at being a star in this league. And I think he can be. He has all the talent in the world.
First overall pick in 2018.
Yeah.
Yes. 7-6 wingspan. Just gonna read off his Wikipedia page for you. But yeah, I know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I'm looking at my Knicks. It's a huge offseason for us. I'm hearing Zion rumors, and I don't like them. I just I mean now Zion, they want to trade Zion. Obviously, the guy never plays. He's got all these off court issues with baby mamas, and it's why who wants him right now? What are we hanging on to?
I would love Zion Williamson. I think Zion Williamson is an unbelievable talent. The only problem is he's going to be like Ray Felton. Bring him to New York, guys pounding pizza and bagels all
There
the
is
time.
zero chance he can succeed in New York.
No, he will not be successful, and there's no reason to bring him in because he's not going to produce more than I don't want to say Obi Toppin because he will produce more than Obi Toppin, but he's just
Obi
he's
breakout
not
this
that
year. Watch for
tall.
it. Watch for it.
His game was that he could push people around inside, and I don't think it's going to happen again.
He doesn't
I
play.
think he peaked.
He hasn't played.
Yeah, I mean he's good for 20 to 25 minutes a game, and then
He's
other than
not.
that,
He
you're
hasn't
really
played.
risking injury.
But
Yeah,
that's
of course.
absurd.
Yeah.
What is that?
No.
I want nothing to do with it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, I root for the guy. Hope he. He was great to watch. That Duke team was a blast. Looks like right now RJ Barrett's the best one of those three. Bring Zion in. Not a fan. You need to do something else here. They can go in a lot of directions. I don't know what they will do. What they
How about
want
get
to
a
do.
knockdown 3-point shooter like
That's what they
Bradley
need.
Beal?
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted Beal, but
Yeah,
he's
he would
gone.
have been a great fit for the Knicks. You have your point guard. You have your inside presence in both what's his face? Robinson and
Yeah,
and what's his face? The guy that gives up all the time.
Hardenstein.
Julius Randle, sorry.
Right.
Julius
He
Randle.
gives
You
up
have
all
your
the time.
dominant inside presence. You need a
Yo,
guy you could kick it to who can hit a spot up three. Like, come on. That was Bradley Beal, and he was available for what, second round picks and
yeah,
Landry Shamet
yeah.
and a buyout of Chris Paul?
I
Like,
don't know how it happened
come
fast.
on.
I don't even know if they were in it.
It
I don't know.
happened very fast. So
Yeah,
that's interesting to me. I'm wondering if it was the first call that the Wizards got, because at the end of the day, there was like a pick swap. There were some
yeah.
protected pay. There was just garbage that Washington didn't get anything other than a salary dump for a guy that really could have helped out a team like New York.
I mean, they did get Chris Paul, but he's gone.
Dude, Chris Paul is I love Chris Paul. I love Chris Paul. I love Cliff Paul. But at the end of the day, Chris Paul is not carrying a team, and he
No,
hasn't
he's
been
done. I
since
mean,
he was in his
you
20s.
know, Ja Morant, 20 games. What do you think? Too much? Too little?
So interesting, because to me, guns aren't illegal. He didn't do it within the construct of his job. I don't know. I'm torn on it. I love it because I don't like guns in America. I think we have a problem, and I don't think he set a good example. But at the end
I
of the
think
day,
that's
did
what
he
it
do
comes
it at the
down to. I
workplace? Did he do anything illegal? No.
think
So
20 games
I
is
have a
fine.
problem with that.
I think it's fine. Take some time off. Don't be an idiot. Figure it
No,
out.
I hate the guy. I think he's a dumbass. I really do. But at the end of the day, why is his job security, or why is his job being threatened when he did something outside the workplace that's not illegal?
Because he's in it. That's why his job's
If I was him, I would sue the NBA, and if I was the Players Association, I would step in for him.
You think Ja Morant should sue the NBA?
Yes, I do, because at the end of the day, that's his workplace, and he didn't do anything wrong in the workplace other than torpedo his team's chances at, a run at the NBA Finals because of the headaches that he caused. The team can suspend him for conduct detrimental to the team, but for Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, to step in and suspend him for something that A, is not illegal, and B, didn't happen within the workplace or within the constructs of the NBA, I think for him to suffer losing game checks and losing money and losing playing time and credibility, I honestly believe that that's wrong. And I think that there's a players' union for a reason. And these are the reasons why. I don't agree with it, what he did, for sure. I think he's a garbage person and a garbage example to people, but to kids specifically. But at the end of the day, he didn't do anything wrong in the
I
workplace.
mean,
When I have a
but
problem
he
with what I
did.
have a problem with is when guys like Colin Kaepernick do things in the workplace or whatever that cause issues and strife at the expense of the team there. John
Well,
Morant didn't do
does
anything.
this not cause issues and strife with the team? I mean,
Right, but the
it's
team didn't
putting the team
suspend
in a
him.
bad
Adam
light.
Silver
It's
suspended
putting the
him.
league in a bad light.
Mm,
If my job found a video of me brandishing guns at a strip club, are they in the right to fire me for that or
well,
to suspend
first off,
me
I'd
for
love to see that video of your
that?
and I love the word brandish that you use. Brandishing guns in a strip club for sure. Of course, I get it. Definitely. But this is his personal Instagram. This is off the court, outside of the workplace, doing something that is not illegal.
Do
Maybe
we know
that's
that the gun is not illegal? Is
well,
it? Do
if
we know that?
there's that, there is that. That's breaking the law. Then there's legal action to be taken. I don't agree with him suffering uh in terms of suffering from being suspended from his workplace for what he did in terms of brandishing guns in a strip club or whatever. I just don't think that it's right. Now, when you use and do something like bring guns into the arena, like the Gilbert Arenas incident,
Well,
yeah,
that's
that's a
another
big
animal.
issue.
Yeah,
That's a
we
big
don't
issue.
even know if this is a real gun. You see the video of him lighting
Oh,
the
you have no
candle.
idea.
Did you see that video?
No, I didn't actually.
It looks like a gun, but he's lighting a candle. It's just a lighter.
Yeah,
He's
so
got
he's
a gun.
probably
Like, maybe he
rolling a
was just
blunt with his
showing
homies in the
that. Yeah,
car, and yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I don't think I don't. You say he's a bad person. I don't know if he's a bad person. I think he's just doesn't get it yet.
I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's a bad example. I really
I think
do. I
that's
think
fair.
it's the example of giving somebody dumb a lot of money.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. I think the 20 games is fair. I have no problem with the suspension. I have no problem with Adam Silver handing down the suspension. There's people who say it should have been more. I don't agree with that. There's people saying it should have been less. I could get with that, if you gave him 10, 15, whatever. But I think the guy's gonna get another chance. He's an incredible talent. If I hope he figures it out. I really do. Because he's fun to watch. It's really fun to watch. But it's kind of that three strikes rule. I mean, one more thing and it's probably over.
Really. So if he goes and he does something over in, wherever the hell he is, completely outside of basketball, absolutely nothing to do with the Grizzlies, nothing to do with the NBA, you think he should be suspended for even longer?
Well, what is he doing?
I don't
What's
know.
he
I have
doing
no
out there?
idea. Lighting a candle with a gun
Is
lighter.
he
Who
fucking a
knows?
bear
Maybe
in
he's playing with a
the
super
wilderness or
soaker at this
something?
point. I have no idea. But at the end of the day, I don't think that he should be suspended for something that he didn't do. He didn't do anything illegal. He did not do
He may
anything
have.
illegal.
He
And
may
I'm
not
not
have.
defending him. Well, you know what? You probably need a gun in Memphis these days. I'll
Yeah.
end it with that.
Well, you might. You might.
Yeah.
I think the league. It is what it is. I think the league has the right to do it. I'm no Adam Silver fan, but
I'm
I'm
not a big
fine with
fan
it.
of his these days either. I
I
was
don't
at
think
first
anybody
as a
is.
player advocate and everything. I don't think he I lean
Is
more
he a
towards the
human?
Goodell
I
side of
still think
things
he
than
might be an alien,
he is an
some
alien.
kind
He's
of
100%
species.
an alien.
It's that time of the week, folks. We got our guys here. Who's been a
GBS.
good, who's been a bad, and who has just been a shitty. Chris, start us off this week. Who's your good?
My good is going to come from the land of baseball, as always. Ellie De La Cruz. Ellie De La Cruz is absolutely incredible, and the dude is breaking the sport. If I played MLB video games, I would play with the Cincinnati Reds, even though they suck, because Ellie De La
They're
Cruz
on
is
fire right now.
freaking awesome. Did you see him leg out that infield single against Jose Abreu? Hit it down the line, out of the box, lightning quick. Dove into first base and beat that infield single. It was incredible, and I am so pumped that he's on my dynasty team. That was the biggest steal of the trade of the league because I traded Ellie De
50%.
La Cruz for Jose Abreu, and then that play happened, and it came full circle. I also got a first round pick in that deal too. So shout out to the Claytons, Aaron Clayton. I appreciate you, buddy. But Ellie De La Cruz, I think, is here to stay. He's the athletic prototype, the athletic freak that I think people are going to be looking for in Major League Baseball more than ever with a lot of the changes that have come to the sport. So Ellie De La Cruz Ellie of the
Ellie
Cruz
of the
is my guy.
Cruz. I like it. He's really fun to watch. Up earlier than people expected, but for good reason. He's showing why. My good is actually related to that. A guy who I thought would be, and probably still is, runaway for the National League Rookie of the Year. But De La Cruz is going to give him a run for his money. That's Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll has not only been Rookie of the Year, he's in the MVP chats right now. He's probably could be leading. I mean,
Let's
it'll
go
probably be
Snakes.
Acuna. I think Acuna will probably take it if he keeps this up. But Corbin Carroll, 307, 386, 589 slash line. That's unheard of nowadays, especially for a young guy just to be doing it all. 15 homers, 19 steals. He's doing all. He's had basically one blunder. Yeah, he forgot how many outs in left field. Sat the next day, came back, and he's picked it right back up. He's been unbelievable. I took him in my auction league, got him for $18. I mean, to take a potential NL MVP for that. I mean, he's another guy fun to watch. Baseball, you look around the league, there's a lot of exciting young talent. It's been like that for a couple of years now, but there's more and more coming every day. I mean, the Pirates just called up Henry Davis, and one of their top picks. The Pirates, another team. These teams who have been bad for a while and been stockpiling young talent are starting to be goods, and that's why they're goods. So I like it. I like that pair of goods. Kick us off with the bads. My bad, not an active player. David Freese, former World Series MVP for the Cardinals. He has publicly declined his Cardinals Hall of Fame nomination. He says he wasn't good enough. Dude, just fucking take the nomination. It's a team Hall of Fame. What are you doing, dude?
I
You're
love
you're
David Freeze.
I dude won a World Series MVP for the Cardinals. If you're a World Series MVP for a team, you're eligible for that team's Hall of Fame, which is a couple plaques in a stadium. I mean, it's an honor. You go get honored before a game. You say thank you. You have some laughs, and that's it. I mean, dude, just it wasn't good enough. Well, I guess you're bad,
Somebody
David
check on
Freeze.
David Freeze. Let's go get a well-being call from the police. Make sure he's doing okay, because that's way too humble, bro. Like,
I
it's
mean,
a
come
team
on.
Hall of Fame. Like
Yeah,
you said, you're a
relax.
World Series MVP there. Come on. I like David Freeze too. I love playing with him in some of the old baseball games.
Yeah, I mean, and he was very good for the Cardinals for a while. Yeah, I mean, he's not. It's not like they're electing him to the Baseball Hall of Fame. I don't know. Maybe he was confused. Maybe he was like thought he was going to Cooperstown. He was like,
Could you imagine?
no, no, that can't be. But dude, just relax. Take the nomination.
Yeah,
But
take the
I
free
mean,
tickets for life.
David Freese self-nominated as a bad. So
Wow. Yeah,
my
he did
bad.
that. That
He
was a
did it
good
to
one.
himself. Did it to himself.
That's great. My band here is going to be Carlos Correa. I think he may have come up in the past with us, but I mean, holy
Loved
shit,
it.
this guy was about to get like otherworldly money from two separate teams, and right now he's hitting 217 with an OPS that is about to dip into the 600s. Like, I mean, we're a good portion of the way through the season, and you were going to be almost a $400 million player, and this is how you're performing. I thought he would be that dude that we knew, who had that chip on his shoulder, who was going to come out just rolling, just rip roaring, just going to lead the Twins to the World Series. Absolutely not. So not only is his
Thanks.
bank account reeling, so is his stat line, and his ankle or whatever it was that kept him from it. But Carlos Correa, you had a lot to say during the Astros cheating scandal. You had a lot of money on the table. You lost it, and you're just not proving anybody wrong. You're a bad. I'm sorry. You are a bad, and your ankle is a shitty.
Can happen to a better guy. It's a real shame. I mean, props to the Mets. They didn't do much. They didn't get much right this past offseason, but confirming concerns and saying no, we're good. There's problems with his physical. Clearly, it's hindering him. I mean, he doesn't have cameras in center field and drums banging, so that's hindering him as well. It's just he's still a young guy. He could turn it on. I know he hit a walk-off homer recently and looked cocky as fuck. I mean, the Twins are the Twins. They are what they are. I mean, they still could win that division. They probably will. But I mean, if Carlos Correa gets out in the playoffs, he could redeem himself. But I'm enjoying the fact that he looks terrible.
Yeah, he's crud.
Love it. Love it. Who's your shitty?
Well, my shitty we touched on a little bit before, but kind of indirectly. My shitty is going to the Washington Wizards organization. Um,
I like
I mean, you traded Bradley Beal for a bunch of second round picks and Landry Shamet and Chris Paul, who you're either going to buy out or trade to somebody else. And I've long said Chris Paul is not that good anymore, and really never was that good once he finished college. But the Wizards haven't been relevant since the '70s when they were the Bullets, and they had Michael Jordan at one point. They almost got there when they brought in, they were trying to bring in Porzingis and Rui Hachimura, and like they had Beal. They had like this eclectic team of weirdos, and they just got rid of the only guy that they've ever really had that was an absolute all-star and an absolute stud. And this whole organization just absolutely sucks. And they're going to rebuild again, and they're rebuilding nothing that was ever really that good. So I feel bad for Chris Paul. Apparently he was like, "Whoa, my son had to tell me that like I got traded to the Washington Wizards," and I can't imagine how that feels for any player to get traded to that franchise. So my Washington Wizards are the biggest shitty in the NBA.
Well deserved. Well deserved. It's nice to see, as a Knicks fan, other teams just be absolutely terrible at building a basketball team. It's been rough there.
Who's your shitty?
Who's my shitty? My shitty is Anthony Rendon. This guy is back on the injured list. Left wrist contusion. He was on there earlier this year. This is going to go down as one of the worst contracts in MLB history. 7 years, $245 million. Coming off that World Series, or maybe a year after that. He got big time money to be, a star, a compliment to Mike Trout. They bring in Ohtani, you're like, wow, that's a big three in MLB right there. You don't see a lot of lineups with that. The guy was 2 for his last 30 before he got hurt. He's in year 4 of this deal. He's played 190 games in 4 seasons. He's got 21 homers. He's got 250 average. It's been terrible, and he's still young enough where, you thought maybe this. I really thought this was kind of like the last year for me. If you can't get it done, I don't know. I really don't know what the Angels are going to do in general. They're right there in the playoff hunt again, and because of Ohtani just being absolutely unbelievable. But if they start to fall off before the trade deadline, you could maybe see Ohtani on the move. I kind of hope it happens. I'd like to see it. I mean, do you really think the Angels could get it done? Do they have the pitching inside of Ohtani? I mean, it's almost a one-player team, and it's not even Trout's team anymore. It's Ohtani's team right now.
Yep.
I mean, Trout's having a fine season, but he's not being what Mike Trout has been the last few, in past years. Hurt again. And they're kind of a disaster. And Anthony Rendon is a big reason why. It's a lot of money for a guy who's doing nothing.
Yeah. No, it's a big waste because the Dodgers are saving their money for Ohtani when he becomes available, and you know that he's not going to be sitting there on the Angels. I just don't think he re-signs with that team. I mean, you got to trade him at some point, but the Angels have never really committed to any sort of rebuild. They've thrown money at the problem for a long, long time, and that's just their MO. So we'll see what happens with that team. But yeah, you're right. Rendon is a long, long way from being that guy that looked like Captain Jack Sparrow playing third base for the Nationals and absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, he was unbelievable for them, and that's why he got that big contract. And it's a disaster. Rough. So, well, Chris, you got anything to send us off?
No, not really. I mean, last time I mentioned LSU and Wake Forest in the College World Series. They're currently playing right now. It's absolutely riveting. 49 wins for LSU, 49-15. Wake Forest 53-10. But what I really wanted to talk about here before we leave is this guy Victor Wembanyama with the draft coming up. Literally just watched his highlights today for the first time, and he's a game changer. But you know me, guys that tall with that body type, I think he's going to fold in half at some point. I've been there with Greg Oden. I've seen these people not make it, but then there's the flip side of the coin. Guys like Giannis, Jokic that just don't have the body type or whatever. But this guy seems absolutely thrilling, and I can't wait to see him in the NBA. Touchdown in the U.S. and it was a big deal today. But he's going to be a game changer in a small market, and I think because of that he can be successful like Jokic and like Giannis have been, rather than going to a giant team that's going to absolutely just rip him apart within the media and all the expectations that come with living or playing in a place like LA, Miami, or New York. So excited to see this guy on the court, and that was really all I wanted to talk about to finish out.
Not a fan of lanky guys. For people who don't know, Chris Carey predicted that Chris Sale would be injury prone. I mean, he was about 6 years early on it. Chris Sale was very healthy for quite some time, but he was right. He was right. He broke
Missed out on a lot of fantasy draft capital getting
this guy's
him.
Not gonna.
He's garbage. The wind's gonna blow and he's gonna fall in half. I think I said that a bunch of times to you.
Yeah, and he it took a while, but eventually you were right.
I was right. I will always be right at some point. Eventually.
Sure. Whatever helps you sleep at night. All right, bud. This was another fun one. Pleasure as always. Thanks everybody for listening. See you soon.
Bye-bye.